Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Halo teman-teman, ketemu lagi sama saya Hasnul Insani Johar. Kalau kemarin video saya itu membahas bagian yang ketiga dari novel Making Home Indiana Abu Jaber Crescent, focusing on how the home or the restaurant function as sharing memory and nostalgia for the immigrant. And now episode yang keempat dari video saya, 5 dari video saya tentang Diana Abu Jabal Crescent ini. Bagian keempat ini saya akan fokus ke fungsi dari restoran itu or as a place for preserving ethnic American culture, in this case Arab American culture. Yeah, Making Home Indiana Abu Jaber Crescent, Part 4, Preserving Culture. Part yang keempat dari analisis or review saya tentang novel Diana Abu Jaber Crescent. So, the immigrants are also debate their traditional culture to share their feelings and desire to build a new home in the Mediterranean restaurant. The omniscient narrator described, quote, Nadia's cafe is like other places, crowded at meals and quiet in between, but somehow there is also usually a lingering conversation current of Arabic that up around Sirin fell her head with mellifluous voices, unquote. Indeed, although these immigrants are superficially satisfying their hunger, they are continuously searching for the Mediterranean food and meals to fulfill their homes. Thus, this novel reveals how these communities attempt to make home by discussing their traditional cultures in the cafe. So this struggle can also be seen through the way Sirin and Han or Hanif frequently discuss their future home in the restaurant. By depicting these different background ethnicities have a dream to establish their homes in the cafe, representing the hostland Crescent, highlights how the U.S. has transformed to become multiple identities. So this transformation can be seen through the way the immigrants establish their unique home in the restaurant through music. So this is they always playing music in the restaurant. The omniscient narrator described that what they sit at the tables outside and play drums with their fingers, the one string rebab, the violin, the flute, Arabic music sailing through the walls of their cafe, end quote. So in this sense, these immigrant or Muslim immigrant communities use music to entertain their blue lives as they often face issues of such as American racism, as many mainstream society or white communities perceive them as foreigners. So even though they describe as a racism, despite the fact that some of them were born in the U.S., additionally, these immigrants use the cafe as a space in which to exchange ideas, exchange culture through this music. And before Sirin starts her day in the cafe, every morning she observes the situation, quote, in her open kitchen behind the counter and discreetly watch the students sipping coffee, studying the newspaper, and having arguments, end quote. So indeed, the cafe is represented as a comfortable space where everyone can relax and enjoy their drinks and food. So these students also exchange their opinions by having various debates and discussion. In this sense, they can speak freely and voluntarily in conversation without being intimidated or interrogated by any powerful group or institution, such as the CIA, how the narrator described the CIA or Saddam's regime. When Han lived beyond this cafe, for example, in Iraq, he was frequently hunted by Saddam soldiers as he contributed to spreading propaganda. Thus, the cafe is a safe place to discuss any topics, including politics and religion, which can be dangerous topics if discussed in other public places, such as in the square or the city park, where Han or Hanif used to speak to criticize his Saddam's regime. However, although these communal people feel safe and comfortable in the restaurant, they remain living under the surveillance of American officer. So you see this, the quote, how the narrator described the surveillance of the American officer when sitting in the cafe. So, however, although these communal people feel safe and comfortable in the cafe, they remain living under the surveillance of American officer. When Umi Nadia and the customer are watching TV, the omniscient narrator described that, quote, two policemen sitting by the TV, eating fried lentils and onions, and watching reports in Arabic about terrorists from Saudi Arabia. Indeed, the two American policemen are depicted as characters who watch Arabic news despite the fact that they don't speak or understand Arabic. This is kind of irony. So the way that they don't speak or understand Arabic in the sense that Abu Jaber toys with the American policemen who are watching Arabic TV program without understanding the language. So this TV program, so these two policemen are depicted as only seeing the picture superficially without understanding the content. The depiction can be understood as the way in which this text questions the role of American officers in excluding Muslims in public, especially in U.S. airports, where many Muslims face discrimination and unfairness. This discrimination can be seen through the way that the U.S. President Donald Trump launched, quote, Executive Order 1379, end quote. So, which bans Muslims to enter the U.S., especially from these following countries: Iraq, Iran, Syria, Sudan, Somalia, Libya, and Yemen. So in order to question this U.S. surveillance or U.S. policy, Abu Jaber uses one of the U.S. Highest institution, including CIA, invade the restaurant. The narrator described how the CIA frequently came to the cafe when it belonged to Falafel Faro, an Egyptian American and Umi Nadia's friend. So this is the quote. After a month of sitting at the counter, the two men took the cook aside and asked if he or Falafel knew of any terrorist schemes developing in the Arab American community. Page 21, end quote. So indeed, the CIA not only assumed that Falafel has links terrorists, but also uses the Arab cafe as a place to investigate and interrogate Arabs or Arab American who may be associated with terrorism. The omniscient narrator also explained that the reason Falafel sells his Arab cafe to Umi Nadia is because of this CIA keep interrogating him. So in this sense, the cafe is not only represented as a safe place to spend a leisure time reading newspaper and watching TV, but simultaneously as a place of fear, as it is used as the site of the CIA's investigation. Thus, this uncomfortable space, which is a home for this marginal citizen, is also invaded by American institutions, including the policemen and the CIA. And another example of how this text criticizes U.S. government or U.S. surveillance toward Muslim women is by toward Muslim and in living in the U.S. is by depicting the TV as using the Arabic language, which blinds and confuses the U.S. officers. The omniscient narrator described that, quote, there is a TV. So this is the quote. So there is a TV tilted in the corner above the cash register permanently tuned to the all-Arabic station, with news from Qatar, variety shows, and shopping channel from Kuwait, endless Egyptian movies, Bedouin soap operas in Arabic, and American soap with Arabic subtitles. Indeed, the TV shows almost all Arabic channels from various countries with their specific distinction and with a shared Arabic language. In this sense, this text undermines American imperialism in the Middle East. Additionally, in this story, the American TV channel is represented as showing an American soap. This can be interpreted as how this text deconstructs American identity as a commercial identity, which mainly focus on commodity and superficiality. Indeed, in the 19th century, American identity was well known as an industrial identity. For example, the General Motor, which has likely been replaced by Chinese and Japanese companies. So this is by depicting this all Arabic language and how the fancy or rich or the quiet shopping center. This is to question or to undermine U.S. centrality in the world. In this case, Anglo-American dominance in the U.S. and also in the world. This is one way to question this hegemony. So this is the end of my presentation today, focusing on the function of home or the restaurant as a place to preserve ethnic American culture, in this case, Arab American culture. And next video, the last video, I will focus on multiple identities or the restaurant as a shared place to establish multiple identities in Diana Abu Jaber Crescent. So if you have any more questions, please email me hasnul.insani@gmail.com. Please like and subscribe. Thank you so much. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.